Meet the Mathewsons. They're a dynasty of dealers.
It drives really well.
With a love of classics.
It's only condensation.
In Thornton-le-Dale, gateway to the North York Moors, they auction over 2,000 rare vehicles every year.
42,000, the ready type, the stunning car.
All walks of life. The cars fetch people together.
I'm ecstatic.
Head of the family, Derek.
It's got to be the best job ever, isn't it? We're sort of living a dream.
Trusted lieutenants, sons Paul
Not everybody's cup of tea.
and Dave.
There's Dad's way, and there's Dad's way.
Keeping them all in check and dealing with the punters, Sarah.
Somebody could ring today with some fabulous vehicle that's been sat in a barn for 50 years. You have no clue.
It's the chase, it's finding it. So you get up every morning thinking, what am I going to find today?
This is a family's love affair with cars that have lived a life.
Someone's cherished a car and loved it, and I think it's just great. I think it's absolutely superb.
A passion that can be turned into brass. On sale this week.
Morris-Townsend Traveller.
Look at that.
Look at that.
That's beautiful.
To find another one owner from new, you're going to have to go a long, long way, aren't you?
Subaru Impreza P1. There's an unusual thing.
I'll have to own one day. And I mean, you can't beat the noise of them, can you?
Bedford, the 14-seater bus, 1958.
It's been part of scouting for the past 50 years.
Bulgaria, Pyrenees, Spain. It's well travelled.
I don't know how to start. What am I supposed to do with that?
As Derek's auction hammer goes down on one shiny classic, others seem to emerge from a secret supply of desirable vehicles that make you say, oh, I like that.
You either go out and you get yourself something that you can relate to that Dad had, or you go out and get something that you maybe missed.
This is relatively normal behaviour, but problems can start to creep in.
Maybe then it just goes on to what their Uncle George had and what Fred 2 doors down had. Oh yeah, Fred 2 doors down had one of them, I'm going to get one. There's a fine line between collectors and hoarders.
Today, Dave is making a delivery to a man struggling with his hobby.
The gentleman has purchased Escort van, Escort RS 2000 and that new trailer.
I had a quick chat with him. He's a nutcase, yeah, absolutely, yeah, with an obsession for buying cars, and he's an obsession for buying a few cars of the same type.
And they're not just for viewing pleasure. There might be a rare prize in store.
While I'm there, the guy wants me to have a look around his place, and there's all sorts. 100 plus cars he's got, of all shapes and sizes, and all different conditions. But I think there's a few that he feels like moving on. So there might well be something to come back.
In a corner of his 26-acre farm, Paul Fraser lifts the lid on his own private obsession.
Is this the only shed you've got, or...?
No, we've got 3.
Most people refer to photos to be reminded of their youthful fantasies. Paul's taken things to a whole new level.
We've got the Punto GT Turbo. Not everybody's cup of tea. They were never as popular as a Renault 5, but quite nippy. Not exactly the best car in the world, but something different. This is a Clio exclusive. There's 172 ever made. This is number 45. This is one of 14 Clios I've got. Don't ask me why. I went mad on them.
Why?
I think they will go up in value quite a lot. Fiat Barachetta. There's 3 of us and it holds 2 people, so it's not really practical as a car we can all go out as a convertible together. This is Golf Edition 30. There won't be many left in time to come. Mark 1 Audi TT 3.2. Bit of a hairdresser's car really, but hopefully one day it will be worth keeping hold of.
So why did you buy that then?
Just because of the engine. It's just a lovely, sweet engine. Mark II Golf GTI. Probably the best looking out of all the Golfs, in my opinion. 205 GTI. It's the 1.6. Some people say they love the 1.9. Handled like glue on rails. It was probably the most popular hot hatch, probably down to price.
Is this a favourite one?
Yeah, the Renault 5 Turbo. Mine was in white. We've kept it fairly standard and just how it should be, really.
The tour continues.
And you've got a few more down here as well.
Yeah, they're nearly all the Clio 172s, which I believe will do well in time. There's a couple of other bits and bats, but nothing special really in them ones. There's a couple in here that are my favourites.
Do you know how many cars you've got?
120.
So what have we got in here then, Paul?
This one is a STI.
A Subaru Impreza, one of many.
I like the car. It's not an Evo, but it's as good as you're going to get to an Evo, I suppose. Then right behind it is an Evo 4.
Mitsubishi's Lancer Evolution, as near to an off-the-shelf rally car as you could get in the 90s.
These 2 cars will go out maybe 3 or 4 weekends a year. I'll bring them out if it's nice weather, and I'll park them at home, and I'll use them, get some miles on them, get them all running again, and then store them just for winter, really.
Few cars would embarrass this pair, but Paul has something special outside.
So Paul, just finally then, what have we got under this wraps here then?
This is my favourite car of all.
A year 2000 rocket ship with a titanium turbocharger. One recently changed hands for 50 grand.
This is a Tommy Mackinnon edition. There's only 2,500 ever made. How many's left, I don't know, but there can't be that many. For me, the ultimate car.
Why?
Just because of how it looks, how it drives. It's got the power, it's got its 4-wheel drive. It does everything you ask it to do. For me, this is the best car ever made, which is quite a statement.
Dave's arrived with the RS2000 and the van.
You happy? Yeah. Yeah, look clean, don't they?
He's been warned about Paul.
Rumour has it you're a little bit balmy.
I need some Mathewsons help, I think.
I've already seen one that my lad will want. That white one.
Paul is a hard-working, full-time farmer, but he also maintains most of his cars to a roadworthy standard. He's just run out of hours in the day.
It's a nightmare. We're struggling. When we started, we was doing okay, but we only had 4, 5, 6 cars at the max. Now it's just got silly, and we ain't keeping up with this.
But Paul is on the road to recovery. He's made a brave decision.
So we're downsizing, we're getting rid of one.
Yep, we've got to get rid of one to downsize. We've got to start somewhere.
Question is, which one?
Good little cars, these. They're nice. I like them. They're coming on board, them, aren't they?
Mint-looking car. XR2i. But I like the colours on that.
Yeah.
Austin 1300.
Yeah.
Human minks. Don't know what to do with that. So there's some bikes in here. So that's a ZZR11. This is a Z250, and I can't remember what that bike is.
Oh, Yummy.
Yeah.
Yeah. 2.8.
Now this one's never been resprayed. Lancia Delta HF Turbo.
HF, yeah, I know, yeah. Quite level that though, isn't it?
And on it goes. Another nice tour around the collection. Yeah. Paul's nervous, but with Dave's help and support, he's almost there.
It's very, very hard for me to give any of these cars up, but I've got to sell some. So I've looked through them and I've managed one.
Could it be one of the Evos? Or even a Nissan Skyline? What about a Lancia Delta Integrale? No.
Mark II Fiesta, very low miles. Somebody will enjoy this. This is something that people will remember from years ago and think, God, I remember that, or pass my test in one of them or whatever.
We're not exactly racing to rehab here, but it is a 1.4 gear, so let's celebrate this small step on Paul's road to full recovery from an affliction well understood by Dave. Compulsive car collecting. At the garage, Sarah's front of house, doing what she loves least. Sorting out the memorabilia.
God. I don't know where to start. Look at it. What am I supposed to do with that? I started yesterday and I got this far because it's all been just put here. There's all these sheets to go through to allocate the item with the sheet. It's complete craziness.
It's looking like Paul might have a better day, though. He's booked in to collect a Woody from Hull.
Hello, Paul.
Afternoon, is it Ray?
It's Ray. Hello, Paul.
How
Nice to
are
meet
you?
Good, thank you.
If there's one car that's never lost its appeal over the years, it's the Morris Minor Traveller. In almond green, this is a fine example.
Look at that.
Look at that.
That's beautiful. The sun's shining as well.
Yeah.
Perfectly for it.
Have you had it long, Ray?
It's not mine. It's a friend, Gerald,
Right.
who's had it since brand new, 1970.
Bought it new.
Brand new.
Wow. One owner from new. There can't be many of them, can
No,
there, really?
I mean, it's 50 years, isn't it?
Yeah. Good wood. You know, all in all, it's not kept so bad, has it, really? It's,
Drives so well. The engine bay is all fantastic.
Yeah, look at that. Just as you would want one, innit, really? Just a little bit of drama down there, look. Did he have a bump?
I think so at some point.
Yeah, yeah.
When I asked Gerald, did he have any service history? Is it okay on there?
Yeah, it'd be all right for that.
There's absolutely everything. So there we are. MOT'd
Superb.
every year.
Yeah, yeah. Magic.
Owner Gerald is 81. He's been finding the steering and brakes a bit heavy recently, hence the sale. But he doesn't want to let it go cheap.
Gerald set the reserve at £6,000.
That's probably all the way because it wants some paint work and some bright work and a bit of love. But that can be addressed. This cannot be replicated. So I'd rather have a good car with a lot of history than I would a really shiny one with no history at all, you know, and 15 owners and all the rest of it. So I'd rather buy it in that state, really. You can see exactly what it wants. They're practical, aren't they? You know, you can go and do 50, 60, 70, 80 mile, whatever it might be, and jump out fairly fresh, really. You know, they're still very user-friendly. They're a good little car.
Suits you, Paul, this. I think this is a great example, and I hope someone looks after it and loves it, you know, the same way Gerald has. I think that's what he wants.
After Dave's collection of a Fiesta from a farm full of GTIs and Evos, he's been on the lookout for something a little more hooligan.
That oil is as clean as a whistle.
Today's latest arrival, a Subaru Impreza P1, fits the bill.
They built 1,000 of these in two-door form, upgraded brakes, upgraded wheels, 280-ish brake horsepower engine. I'd be amazed if there's more than 300 or 400 left. I'd be amazed because they all went into racing or rallying or both.
Or ditches.
And ditches.
A car company that grew out of a scooter company that used old aircraft parts. It's a familiar post-war story for Subaru, which is the Japanese name for the Pleiades. or Seven Sisters star cluster. In the late 90s, they got really clever. Four-wheel drive, rally wins, and Grand Theft Auto. You were Colin McRae without the talent. When British rally prep company ProDrive took their allocated STIs and performed their engineering magic, they created something special. It was fast and furious and rare. They could have sold 1,000 more. The following is still as strong today. And here's why. The Impreza is still a bit scary, but in the right hands, it can do this. Professional parallel parking.
They're bought by a type of person, aren't they? They're either bought to use, and this one's obviously been used with 120,000 miles, or they're bought and used sparingly then. What is quite often the problem with the owners of things like this, I'm not saying that's the case with this guy, but they go on the web, they see one at a fortune because it's done 40,000 miles and it's only had 2 owners, and they think that their 7-owner, 150,000 one is worth almost as much. It's not. They're a completely different car, different buyer.
Dave's son Jack is keen to give it a test drive.
I've always been a Subaru fan, really. Yeah, definitely. I'll have to own one day. And I mean, you can't beat the noise of them, can you? I mean, that dump valve just puts a smile on your face every time you drive it or change down the gear. I do like the old school sort of stuff.
A low mileage P1 would be worth over 30 grand. This rare example could be bought for half that amount at the auction. Back in Hull, and Paul's collecting his second car of the day.
How are you?
I'm not too bad.
Good.
A 1969 Vanden Plas Princess.
The bodywork's absolutely solid.
Yes.
It's just the floor.
She wants a bit of floor, like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Automatic. Automagic.
Serial renovator Keith Barlow had intended to restore this car for his wife Alma,
Yeah, you're all right here, Keith.
but sadly she passed away last year. He now wants to sell it.
Hopefully it'll go to a good home and get restored. With somebody who makes a good job of it.
Are you going on or am I?
You're going on.
Yeah, most people say that.
Yeah.
When I say, are you going on?
Yeah.
It might look a bit tired now, but in its day the Vanden Plas was a cut above the rest. A basic Austin or Morris 11 or 1300 would be given a similar luxury makeover to that of a Bentley or a Daimler.
That'll do us there,
Right,
mate.
no, yeah,
That's
right.
ideal.
Full leather interior, thick plush carpets, wood across the tops of the doors, mahogany dashboard, and little trays that came down from the back of the driver and passenger seats for your sandwiches and your drinks, so you don't have to put it on your knee. There's a box of bits in there.
Right, yeah. Oh, yeah.
All the original carpets.
Ready?
Scrubbed to go.
Superb. Right, I'm going to proceed and
Nice
go and see
talking,
my next man.
right,
Thank
right.
you very much.
Right, see you later, safe trip. Bye-bye, little car.
It's auction day, with a couple of hundred fine classics looking for new homes,
Stunning, absolutely stunning.
including the much-loved Morris Traveller.
Fabulous history, isn't it? You know, he's kept everything, so even down to a light bulb, it's in there, you know. It's had a bit of a ding and a scrape, but good wood, which is obviously a big thing with these. The structure of them's made up of timber, yeah. And obviously they rot a lot. He's cherished it, hasn't he, you know. To find another one owner from new Morris Traveller, you're gonna have to go a long, long way, aren't you?
Elsewhere, piles of niche memorabilia, waiting for the right enthusiast.
It's a feel good. I just like the fact that it is well made. Even serrated breech loader, you know, everything about it is fabulous.
It's loaded, don't fire it.
Morris 1000 Traveller. It's a 1970 bonny-looking car. Where are we going to be? 5, 5, 2, 5, 2, 5, 4, 5, 6, 5, 6, 5, 8, 5, 8, 5,008, 5, 9, 5,900, going then 5,009, 5,900 and away, 5,900 on its way, 5,009, 5,009, are you all done? Is the 6 anywhere? 5,009, 5,9.
Sold to brothers Sam and Billy Foster from Belfast. Impressed by the Woody's condition.
Very good.
The car's 90% right. You know what I mean? As I say, there's just a wee odd 10% that just needs ticked off, needs tidied up.
Prior to this, they've toured Ireland in a 1957 Morris 1000, but they were looking for an upgrade.
We're looking at something different, a more roomy car where we can put stuff in the back if we're going on a journey down to the south of Ireland or anything like that there. Say, just because there's a bit more room and a bit more space. It fits the bill, it fits us for what we want it for.
Go on. Steady.
Commercial vehicles have featured heavily at Mathewsons auctions over the years, mainly because Derek likes them. But there's one make he has a particular soft spot for.
Growing up in London, most of the vehicles that I sort of saw on a daily basis when I was out with my dad in the lorry were 7-tonners and 10-tonners and stuff like that. And when that forms an impression on you when you're young, it stays with you, I think. Let's face it, they are basically the British truck.
So, news of any Bedford type bus vehicle or anything cropping up, then you're all ears?
Yes, I mean, I do become interested straight away.
Sheffield, home to the Woodseats Explorer Scouts. Leader Andrew Plummer has asked Derek to pick up one of their longest-serving members, a Bedford D122 from 1958.
When it was first built, it was for the RAF, and it was used to carry personnel to the Vulcan bombers. When the Vulcan bombers were phased out, so was the bus. So the scout group went up there and paid £300 for it. In '72 would probably be a decent amount of money.
For the last 30 years, the bus has affectionately been referred to as Spiny Norman.
Spiny, we've called it since then. And it was a hedgehog. I don't know if it was a cartoon character or something, but our kind of logo is a hedgehog because originally it was Woodseats Vent Unit, which were like made up in the spines. And that's kind of where it's all come from, and we've kept the name ever since.
Scout leaders James Godfrey and Richard Hollingworth are prepping Spiny for its final mission, to make it out of the garage and onto Derek's truck.
The bus hasn't been used regularly since about 2002 now, so it's been stored in our purpose-built garage here next to our Scout building. We've got a new fleet of smaller, lighter minibuses now.
Spiny was notoriously temperamental.
It's quite nice to see it running, actually. So it took a bit of getting going this morning, but it was running when it was put away, so a bit of fresh petrol and a bit of a bump start, and off we go.
In its heyday, once they got it started of course, it enabled thousands of scouts to experience adventures far and wide.
It's actually been to Europe, Pyrenees, Bulgaria, Spain. It's been well travelled. I wouldn't like to hazard a guess how many miles it's covered in its life, but it'll be a fair number.
The Scouts' motto never seemed more appropriate.
I don't think there's many trips from what I've heard that it's been on where it's actually made it there and back in one piece.
It's been part of the unit, part of scouting, especially in Woodseats, for the past 50 years, but the bus needs to go.
Derek's arrived and immediately spots a problem.
Oh dear, oh Lord.
It seems Spiny comes loaded with a large collection of essential spares.
It's got another vehicle in here. Gearboxes, everything.
Well, you never know when you might need one.
Yeah, but I'm not going to need one on the way home, am I? That's for sure.
Taking some stuff out, Derek.
Too much weight, lads, too much weight.
Yeah, I wonder whether it would be.
So we've got a couple of spare parts. We've got a pile of old seats as well.
We've got loads and loads of parts.
The people that used to look after the vehicle, they would not throw anything away.
A couple of engine blocks we've had for it.
Oh yeah, steady. There it goes.
As far as we know, it's had 3 reconditioned engines since we've owned it.
That might pull itself up this slope now, with a bit of luck. Just hope it gets on the wagon all right. He means business now. Just hope he's got some brakes. Over here a bit. We'll just get lined up and then, yeah. Yeah, come on. Yeah, come on. This way a little bit. Yeah, keep it like that, keep coming. That'll do you. Yep, bang on.
Spiny's obviously not in great shape, but Derek's still hopeful of a sale.
Well, I think it's perfect for a scout group, in my opinion. But I don't think we're going to find one balmy enough to buy it. But you never know where these things are going to go, do you? We're going to turn it into a motor caravan. That's what it'll be. They all wind up motor caravans, don't they? All this sort of stuff. A new lease of life, so to speak.
End of an era. Sad to see it go.
I think we're pretty good, aren't we?
Yeah, everything else is possible.
We've been building up to it for so long because we've been talking for 4 or 5 years about getting rid of it, and it was just kind of, for something that's got so many fond memories for people, it was deciding on the right way to do it, because obviously we didn't want it scrapping, we want it to carry on its legacy kind of thing somehow.
Lovely, good to meet you fellas. Thanks for your help. Yep, see you later.
It's tricky to value Spiny, given that it might be worthless, in financial terms at least. For the Scouts, though, they'll just be happy if someone takes the trouble to renovate it. With auction day looming, Sarah redoubles her efforts to keep her patience as the memorabilia starts mounting up again.
Should we do some gambling? Bit of Russian roulette. What do you call them? A croupier? Yeah. We could have casino nights. It'll make up for the lack of pay, won't it?
Outside, thoughts also turn to the respectable Vanden Plas Princess from 1969. This was the posh version of a bog-standard Austin or Morris 1300. Derek's with an almost identical one in the backyard of the garage.
Nice little car. They do well, these. They were a cracking little car. There weren't many Vanden Plas produced, mostly 1100s and 1300s. They were actually Britain's best-selling family car for 8 years. Amazingly popular. There was thousands and thousands of them everywhere. When they got on a little bit, well, they didn't have to get on very much really, when they were 3 years old, they were trouble. They were really rotten. Subframe seals, subframe mounts below the back seat, big trouble. A-series engine, bit smoky, funny gearbox, not the best setup in the world. They were all plain, posh colours, if you like, you know, like beige and grey and maroon. The maroon was disastrous, you know, it lost its lustre in no time at all. In fact, it just makes you wonder, really, I don't know why they sold like they did. It was a bit of a fluke, really.
There were some redeeming features, though. Not least the trick suspension, a fluid displacement system designed to reduce roll in corners.
So you've got no springs, it works hydraulically. It's hydraulic, basically, that's what it is. It's the hydrolastic, it's just hydraulic, that's all it is. Like.
There was also somewhere to put your sandwiches.
Look at that, quality car. Look at that, little picnic tables. We sold them really well because people like them. Someone said to me once, that's the only small car that I can think of that drives like a big car. And he's right, it does.
2 million standard spec models were made, compared to 40,000 of the upmarket version. But it's the Vanden Plas that have stood the test of time.
They were bought by older people, and older people didn't do the mileage. They looked after them a bit better. They nearly always had a garage, so they were kept inside and so on. That's why most of the better 11 and 1300s are Vanden Plas. A little Vanden Plas, 1969. What's a bit of weekend work, we know, but a nice little car. Whereabouts, come on. 5, 56, 57, 700 pounds, 700 pound the Vanden Plas, 700 only, 750, 758. On the right, 800 pound and going, 800, are you done? 800, provisional.
In less than 30 seconds, serial renovator Nigel Geit emerges as the highest bidder.
So we've got it down for 9, you've got it down for 8, can we meet you halfway at 850?
Yeah.
Yeah, lovely, thank you.
In total, Nigel has bought 2 Vanden Plas and a pink Mini, purchased on behalf of his work colleague, John Holmes. The unlikely trio promptly shipped back to their industrial estate in Sheffield.
You often buy cars without looking at them?
Yeah. John's completely unfazed by the work that lies ahead.
I am a fabricator welder, but I turn my hands to anything. It could be worth silly money. It's got a great interior in it. It could do with a bit of tittling up on woodwork, but no drastic. Body's not bad. Easy paint job. It's just restoration to the floor and a few bits and bobs on it. Chrome work.
The second of his challenges, the 83 Mini, seemingly painted in nail varnish, will need some cosmetic attention.
The pink Mini, that's for my son. He did actually want it for his girlfriend. But she says, well, once it's finished, she wants it blue anyway. She don't like pink.
The other, nicer, Vanden Plas, has Family Feud written all over it.
I bought one for wife, but then when I told her I bought it, she says she don't want it. She'd rather have a Mini. I think she's wrong.
Another day, another delivery. Nothing unusual there. But for a car addict with a collection habit, this is a big step forward on what is a difficult personal journey. When we last saw Paul...
Good little cars, these.
He was struggling.
Do you know how many cars you've got?
120.
He's clearly abnormal, but then again, we all are in many respects. He really does need looking at and counselling and some work on his head.
Trimming his collection down was never going to be easy. But all he could manage on the day was a Fiesta.
Yeah, that's been and gone.
Provisional 900.
Didn't do that well, but he's gone to a good home.
He's making good progress, though, with today's XR2.
Let someone else do it up. They can bring it back to former glory.
And an Audi 100.
Even coming today, I thought, well, do I really need to sell them? And I do.
But there's more. He's also brought in a 90s Mazda RX-7 with its highly strung Wankel engine.
The strange, these rotary engines, people can't make their mind up what actual size horsepower or cc they are. You can justify rating that at 1100 or 2200, depending on which way you look at it, which is a bit odd, I know. Basically, it's like a rotor, a paddle, if you like, you know, with a spark plug that fires and pushes the paddle around. But you can imagine, you know, it's going around skimming the cylinder wall like this, you know, a million times a minute and all the rest of it. It's got to be really good material, otherwise you're not going to get any compression. So a lovely looking car. Go extremely nicely, sound lovely, Mazda quality, but you've still got this stigma about this rotary engine that worries people.
Outside, Paul's had a setback.
Well, I'm picking a bike up now, aren't I?
Right, mate. Get a couple of small ones first, Paul. You've got some skinny ones there, haven't you?
I bought a RX 250 motocrosser. The other two I've got just aren't quite fast enough. So I'm hoping that this will be faster. I think it'll be more than fast enough.
Dave feels responsible.
It's a terrible disease. We've said it for a long, long time, and we've been involved with the classic car movement for nearly 50 years now. You know, we really should have perhaps concentrated on trying to find a cure, as opposed to sort of feeding the habit, really. But anyhow,
this is going to be an uphill struggle for Paul. In other news, the ProDrive Impreza, that turned out to be one of Subaru's press cars, finally got its day at the auction. And Charlie knows a good thing when he sees it.
very desirable, it's very different. It'll be a classic eventually. And I'd like to have one day.
These cars of an era, they'll never be made again. You know, with emissions and electric cars and things. So, you know, this is it. This is probably as good as it will get for a petrol head. From here onwards, it's downhill.
Subaru Impreza P1, there's an unusual thing. What a rarity this is. Whereabouts are we going to be with this? I want 12. 12 to start. 12, 5, 13, 13, 5. 14, he says. 14,000 I'm submitting. 14,500. 14,500. Well, it's only money. I won't worry about it. 14,500. 15, it's on its way. Gentleman standing there. 15,1. 2. 15,3. 15,3. What do you think? Shame to leave it while you're here, really. 15,3. 15. We all feel like chipping in, you know. 15,3. What do you think? Have one more. 15,4. 15,4. On sale and going. 15,4. Gentleman's going to buy it. 15,5. 15,5. Thanks for letting me know. 15,5. Good lad. 15,5.
Long-distance phone bidder, Graham Adams, bagged the Scooby and shipped it all the way to Australia, where it's now sedately cruising the sunny boulevards of Brisbane. So that just leaves Spiny Norman.
You know, it wants a coat of paint, but it's no big deal, is it?
The mechanically and aesthetically challenged Bedford. An ex-RAF Vulcan bomber crew bus in its glory days, but since the 70s it's been absolutely hammered by the Sheffield Woodseat Scout Group.
We used to, on a regular basis, boil potatoes on a double burner gas stove in the back.
Tim was a member many years ago and is here to pay homage to an old friend.
The rule was, if you mended the bus on a Saturday, you went on the climbing trip or the adventure the following Saturday, so you had to do the work on it. I was the electrician, so we did a lot of rewiring of the bus. There was actually a flashing hedgehog in the middle here, which I remember putting in.
When it came to the auction, though, there wasn't exactly a stampede.
Bedford, the 14-seater bus, 1958. Start me on it. No bidders. Pass on it then. No bidders. £500. There you go, £500. £500, not enough. 550. Yeah, at least you're a bidder. 550. 550. I'll make a note of that. 550.
Not enough. But a few days later, the military stepped in with another 50 quid. Solway Aviation Museum, Carlisle. Home to one of the few remaining Vulcan bombers. And a journey back in time for visitors and volunteers alike.
The museum came about in 1988 when there was two of us sitting in the room and thought, well, there must be more to it than just watching slides and, you know, listen to speakers. Can we not play with aeroplanes? From then on up till now, with 23 aircraft.
And one bus called Spiny.
A fully fledged crew is ready to take to the air. As in civilian airports, buses take them to their aircraft which awaits them at dispersal. What fantastic machines these Delta wings are. There are 14 miles of electric cables in each one of them, 9,365 feet of tubing, and, not including the engines, over 167,000 different parts.
Dougie Kerr is the chairman.
The key attraction to Solway Aviation Museum, what people come to see, is the Vulcan. It was a conventional bomber, but it was also a nuclear bomber. The sight, the sound, and the smell, oh, well, the noise even, you know, it's tremendous, absolutely.
The same can't be said of the 6-cylinder Bedford crew bus, but it did play no less a vital role in Britain's nuclear deterrent.
These aircraft would be called QRA aircraft, quick reaction aircraft. The way that they would get between the building and the aircraft is by these Bedford crew buses, which we've managed to get hold of.
The flying side of the station's activities goes into action. No time now for unnecessary formalities. No time for anything except to get the aircraft off the ground fast.
I phoned Mathewsons on the Monday. It'd already gone through the sale on the Saturday. I offered them money for it, and it's come back to live with a bomber again.
Retired fireman Dougie Beresford is just one of the enthusiasts, helping to peel back the layers and reveal its past.
5 coats of paint of dubious origin. Some of it's really, really thick. Well, we've got light blue, yellow, and the grey. Then 2 coats of darker blue, probably the Scouts have put on. I'm just a volunteer helper. I help out behind the counter, show people around the museum, and when we're closed, I help on the maintenance side of things. Currently, I'm working on the bus.
You've got a big smile on your face.
I love the bus, yeah. It's one of the best things we have, or it will be when we finish with it.
He's almost as big a fan as Derek when it comes to Bedfords.
I love anything to do with good engineering, and that's symbolic of when we were a great nation kind of thing. Those buses were exported all over the world. So were the aircraft we have here.
You're in your element here.
I certainly am. I'm a retired person who's found a second career. I don't get paid for it, but I love it.
Spiny Norman's journey has come full circle. The Bedford has re-entered active service for its retirement years, now spending its future in its past.
The intention of the bus is, to make it nice again, put it back into its original colours. There is a few holes in the machine, which needs patched up and things like that. I've been tinkering with the engine, but now we've got to get it to stop. We've got to sort the brakes.
Spiny may be back home, but those scouting memories will never be forgotten.
We have taken the big Spiny Norman off, but I'm tending to make a smaller sign and stick it on the bus somewhere, it'll keep its memory there.
It's back with people that care for it. If it was a pony, everybody would be wiping their eyes now.
It's gold dust, isn't it? Really. I know at the moment it's a bit of aluminium dust on the floor, but it's a brilliant find.